Good evening, welcome to Success in the City. My name is Sean Webster. I'm with the lovely
Sandra Scott, and our fabulous guest today is
Sean Webster. I'm an artist from Liverpool.
Amazing. Thank you, Sean, for giving your time up tonight. And he has just whizzed in from a photo shoot and a video shoot, whizzed in, quickly thrown his laptop up. So a true trooper there. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
And before we start, I want to say a big massive thank you to Danny de Brabander. So if you're listening on the podcast, apologies, but San and I have got a modelling 2 amazing jumpers. So I've got the Mindset one, which is the lion.
Yeah, I've got Clear Eyes, Full Hearts, Can't Lose, Team DDP.
So we want to say a massive thank you to Danny for sending them over. He come on our show, not last week, the week before, and the day later we had our hoodies, didn't we? So big shout out to Team DDP.
Yeah, and if people want the hoodies, they're in all different colours, and you can just get them off the website. All the money goes to the charity and to doing acts of kindness throughout Wirral and other places as well. So yeah, well done. Shout out to them, massive one.
It's a big shout out to them. Okay, so shout out to the kids first. Any little people who've done amazing things this week. Stan, do you want to go first?
No, you can.
Okay, I'll go first. So he's not little, he's big little. So I'm going to give a shout out to my nephew, Thomas, who was 16 on Friday. So he's big little, he's not a grown up yet. And we went out for a meal and it was lovely. And he's just a lovely young man. And he'd come to the footy with us the week before, and he'd sat with Anna and had a chat with her, and we'd never met her before, and he's just grown up to be like a really lovely young man. So I want to do a big massive shout out to Thomas for his birthday. So yeah, I think they're the only little people I've got. Sean, have you got any little people around who you want to shout out to?
Yeah, again, not really little. I mean, these guys are 19, 20, 21, so similar age to me, but I'm still going to shout them out anyway. All my students at LMA Uni, I mean, they've just started, and I know how nerve-wracking that is for them, just starting at their university and stuff. And in my sessions especially, they've been really chatty and they've been getting on with everyone and being really creative. So shout out to everyone at LMA. Yeah.
Oh, I bet you're the coolest.
We have real good fun in our sessions. Yeah,
that's great. So just a little shout out for me to Raf. Raf's my friend Marie's son. He's in primary school, and he had his first Italian lesson in our house last week, and he just half an hour, and he was absolutely brilliant. So made up with him. Well done, Raf.
Brilliant. Well done, Raf. Well done. Okay. Success this week for you personally. Something amazing that's happened to you this week. Do you want to go first, Anne?
Go on, then I will do. I've had a few just simple big things that I'm delighted about. So I think I mentioned last Tuesday we were doing our first Spanish course in 2.5 years, face-to-face in town, rather than online or just one-to-one. So I was just so happy, and I've got 10 people on a lovely course in town, and they loved it. And it's been 2.5 years since I did the last group course in any language, and it was just great. And I thought, yeah, this was the business I created in 2006. This was my vision. You just got to believe in yourself. And I had a guy come in really nervous. He said, look, I'm not great. I'm more, he's very successful in business, really successful guy, but a bit nervous about writing. And I said, you don't have to write a thing, only if you want to. Everything's done for you. And I always say I can teach someone if they can't read or write to speak another language. And he came to, and I looked after him because I knew he was nervous. And he came over to me in the end. He went, I absolutely loved it. And I'd even said to him, don't pay till let's just see how you feel. And he went, he said, there's all the money. He just loved it. So it was just, I was so happy. So that was a big success for me because it reminded me, this is what I do after the mad time we had. So great.
Brilliant. Any other successes?
Yes, I queued for an hour and a half on Sunday morning outside the Philharmonic and got 4 tickets for £1 each. That should have been over £200. So for next February, so I can take my mum and my son and his girlfriend, hopefully if she's here at that time in Liverpool, to go to the Philharmonic. So that was good as well.
What's that to go and see?
Well, they had 10 different things. So you pick, basically they're pound tickets. So they do 100 for free each performance. They do it once a year. So I picked one of the classical concerts actually in was it Elgar or Strauss? I can't remember. In February. So I had choice 1, 2, 3, 4, and I got 4. So that was good, you know. So
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that was a win.
Yeah, brilliant. Well done. Sean, what about you? Any successes for you this week?
Yeah, so past year I've been working on this project, and I haven't really put my focus into anything else, and just started picking up like my actual original paintings this past week, and managed to get my biggest commission ever. Really, it's like a 360 centimeter long, massive canvas. So looking forward to working on that. But yeah, that's kind of a real win for me. Yeah, and then I guess other things like today I've just been shooting like a final hero piece video for this project, and we just kind of wrapped that up today. So you literally just got back in from it then. So that's been really fun, and yeah, feeling good about it. Yeah.
Oh yes, you're an absolute true artist. Yeah. How wonderful is that! And you're a very good person for those young people to have as a tutor, because you earn your living through art. So it's not just there that you can talk to them about, you know, it's not just a creative aspect. You're someone who earns their living through art. So it's superb. Yeah, fantastic.
Well, that's the biggest thing. I find like a lot of colleges and art schools don't really teach you the business side of it, do they? So just being able to kind of show them that is great.
Did you start doing the business with art when I met you? You were 16. Had you done things already that were commissioned, or? Sorry, I'm
probably
for later.
No, it's cool. Yeah, I'd done a few, but obviously back then, like I was so new to it, and I was just a kid, and you know, I was learning. But I always say like I'm still learning every day. Like I've just kind of self-taught myself stuff, and like speaking to people like we are now, I pick up little bits and pieces here and there, and kind of go off guidance of other people to navigate what I'm doing. So yeah, it's a lot of learning, you know.
Sorry,
and we'll find out more and more about his learning and slightly a little bit. Yeah. Okay. So back to the successes this week. So amazing, well done on your commission. I went to see Swan Lake the ballet with my mum on Thursday night. So my dad had bought the tickets for her birthday, but of course buys 2 so that I can go as well. So it's a win for me as well when it's her birthday. And we went to see Swan Lake, and it was just breathtaking. I've seen it before years ago, but they're just so talented, the dancers and the music, and they're just unbelievable. So yeah, that was my massive success this week. Okay, we're going to play this or that. Sam, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first. Go on. Okay. So NFTs or original paper art forms?
Oof. I'm going to have to go with NFTs, because that is what this whole project's about at the moment. And it's all about to be revealed. That's what I've been working on for the past year.
Controversial.
So I don't know what an NFT is.
Go on.
It's essentially the way you can own an original piece of artwork, you can also own a digital artwork now through the kind of Web3 space, and it's something that's rarely become more prominent this year, I would say. And I mean, there was some controversy at the start when they first came out over like if they were environmentally friendly and stuff, but there's been a massive update over the summer which has completely changed like that whole aspect of the space. So it's a really positive growing space for the art community, and I just think there's a lot of opportunity in it. And like I say, I've been working on a project called the Powell's Universe for the past year, and it's loads of my original art. So I've took my original artwork and kind of shifted it into the NFT space. So that's why I've said NFTs.
Ooh. And what is it? It's non-fungible token it stands for, isn't it?
Yeah.
Non-fungible token. Very interesting.
It's a way...
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, like, it's also a way of you being able to see who's owned that artwork before you. So, you know, there's some pieces that say have been owned by, I'm just trying to think, like this hasn't happened, but say, you know, Paul McCartney had owned a piece and then sold it on, you'd be able to see who's owned that artwork. And it's really cool space.
In a digital format. So it's created digitally, isn't it? And then you own it digitally. There you go. So, because I'm old, I'm saying paper. Okay. Paper up on the wall in my house. There you go.
Yeah, I think I don't know because I'm not really sure. But I quite like the thought of knowing who's owned it before, because in case like somebody else is something, oh, that's quite good. So I quite like that, and I quite like that side of it. But then I do like something on the wall to look at.
Yeah, it's nice to have a mix of the both, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Unless you just have to have a big screen, would you, and play it somehow? Okay. I'm gonna go Buzz or Woody from Toy Story, Sean.
Ooh, I've literally just drew those two, but I'm
I
gonna
know.
have to say Woody because like that's proper childhood memories, isn't it? Like I remember getting my little Woody figure, and I've still got it somewhere. Still got him somewhere. Yeah.
What about you, Sam?
Woody.
Woody for you, and I'm gonna go Buzz Lightyear. Get back. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Next one, Sam.
Yeah.
I only picked them because if anybody looks on Sean's, he's actually just drawn them. That's why I picked them. So go on, Sam.
Okay. So Sean, do you prefer if you're doing anything by hand, freehand, do you prefer using coals like charcoals and things like that to draw with, pastels type product, or pencil?
Oof. I would say, I mean, I use pens for everything. So I would go pencil because that's the closest to pens, isn't it? Like I just love drawing straight onto the paper.
Oh, very good.
Okay. Yeah. Brilliant.
I would go, if I was going to be arty, I quite like a pastel drawing, and I quite like pastels and shading and things like that. What about you, San?
I quite like charcoals. I think it looks nice, but I have to draw in pencil because I'm not an artist. So I'm like one of these who leans, it'd be smudged everywhere and black all on my face and everything. So I'd have to say pencils.
Are either of you left-handed? Because it's like the worst thing as an artist to be left-handed. I'm always like smudge all up my arm.
Are you left-handed as well, Sean?
Yeah.
Oh, we're both lefties. Look at us.
Lefties.
Talented people are.
I always tell people that all the talented, cool people are.
That's right. Okay, fab.
So I've sort of gone a bit the same sort of theme, and I was saying if you were going to paint a big something, do you like the sprays, as in graffiti spray paint, or a brush?
Spray paint. I mean, I just find it so much more freeing, and it's more like I can scale my work up better. Like the way I draw with pen, you can just draw the same with a black spray can. So instead of dipping your brush in a bucket of paint, so spray paints.
What about you, son?
It'd have to be paint. Can you manage the damage? Imagine the damage I do with a spray can. My God. So Sean, I got an old ladder and I painted it like a pale blue in the garden, and I've got all plants on each rung and everything. And it's like the best thing I've ever done.
Okay, cool.
I painted a ladder plane. That's it, and it's like my work of art. So we're not at that level at all. At no point would I control a spray can. I'm not the best coordinated person, unfortunately.
I've always wanted to be able to graffiti art. I just think it's ace. I think proper, really good graffiti art looks amazing. I think it looks brilliant.
You should give it a go.
Last one. And I will do. Yeah, I need to have a go. Yeah, we're in the Baltic.
Exactly.
Brilliant. Okay. Hot drinks or cold drinks, Sean? With you being young.
Hot, because coffee is like I'm growing a slight addiction to coffee at the moment. Like I can't go a day without coffee. So nice flat white.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That'll escalate. Yeah. Hot drinks definitely for me. What about you, Hal?
I think hot drinks for me as well. I've got a cup of tea now. I think hot drinks for me.
Yeah, I always have a cup of tea on the show, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, my last one. Do you prefer black and white or colour?
Again, probably controversial because a lot of my latest work has been black and white, but I'm gonna have to say colour because I'll speak about this more later on. But like I say, this project that I'm working on, the Pals, everything is like all about colour and putting life back into that. So colour.
Amazing. What about you, San?
I do like black and white, and I've got a lot of black and white in the house and pencil drawings and things like that. But I love colour. I like bright colours, vibrant colours, and it's just nice, isn't it? Bring a bit of sparkle and bright things into the world, really. So colour for me overall.
I was looking at Sean's latest work, and it's like the black and white drawing, and it's really effective.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, that's amazing. And then I saw the picture of what your Strawberry Fields artwork, and I think, oh, so I'm the same. I love colour. I love bright colours. I wear funky colours all the time. I'm very, I just absolutely love it. So I was looking and I was thinking, I love that, and I love that. I think I'd probably go colour. If I could only pick one for the rest of my life. But the black and white stuff it's really powerful. It's amazing. Really, really good
Thank
stuff.
you. Colour one there as 3-0.
So I think colour one, colour one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let Sandra introduce Sean, and we're going to let Sean take it. Yeah.
Okay, so as a lot of people know, Helen and I are in business, and we do a few different things, and we go to business networking and meet people and stuff like that. And I went to a business network thing at 6:30 in the morning several years ago, and a photographer friend we know, Joanne Houghton, she took you along as a guest, and she said, this lad is 6. I think you were just 16. You might have just had your birthday. Yeah. And I thought, oh, you've come along here at 6:30 in the morning, midweek, and you were producing cards, you designed them, they were printed, and she said, what are you doing? And I just thought, that is unbelievable. And then I followed your page, and I don't know if you still have a space in Mersey Made and that, but I've just watched your career really and followed it, and I thought you'd be a great guest for the show, because we have a lot of older people on and things like that, but it's nice to have all walks of life and all different ages and doing different things. And we've only had one, we had another artist on, but who does different types of things, but we've only ever had one other artist on the show who creates like visual canvases and that type of art. And that's John, isn't it?
John Charles.
Yeah. So John Charles was on one of our, because I know him, was one of our very first guests, and he was great, and he was just superb, and etc. So it's lovely to have another artist on, and a young artist as well. Yeah. And I think you might be quite inspirational to a lot of young people who are looking to go into that career. So as Helen always says, we'd like you to take it away, really, Sean, and talk about yourself, your journey, what inspired you, how you can, at such a young age as well, and to be business savvy too. And, you're young to be lecturing at college as well. So you're very, very accomplished. And about your exhibition you've got on at the moment, and what's coming forward. And then if people have got questions or comments, they can just type them in, and we'll read them out and answer them as well. Take it away.
So yeah, start by saying thanks again for having me. I remember vividly like meeting at the event in town and stuff like back then. But yeah, I kind of started when I was started drawing properly when I was about 14, 15, and started doing it. I was like, okay, these little characters I kind of could relate to almost, and they felt like I just felt something from them. So I started posting them online, and people started seeing my work through that, and started getting a few like odd commissions and stuff, and then it was really when I got a commission for a picture book that I was like, okay, this could be going somewhere. So did that commission, carried on going, started going to all like these networking events, like you say, when I was about 16. Then I started, again, like I say, creating merchandise with my work, so putting my artwork on like cushions and coasters and all that type of stuff that you'd find in shops. Started selling at market stalls around Liverpool. Then someone suggested to me, okay, why don't you do some street art? So there's a florist on Booker Avenue who approached me to do my first mural, basically. So I did that, and then that was kind of I would say like the springboard to kind of how I've got my work about. I started doing loads more graffiti, street art, all legal, like, I was getting commissioned or asking for the walls. Everyone always says that. They're all like, are you allowed to do it? I'm like, yeah. And then kind of got a few studios around Liverpool, again, just kind of building a community around my artwork, and started tutoring at LMA University. to the point now where I've put all my focus this year, like I say, onto this one project that I feel like summarizes my artwork, and it's called The Pals, and it's all based around my little cartoon characters, and I've built a storyline around them and stuff, because my dream's always been to create something like the Mr. Men, the Smurf. So everything's kind of led up to this point that I feel is literally about to release, and I feel like it's really prominent kind of thing. So yeah.
Brilliant.
Amazing. Do we have a release date yet?
Next week, yeah, we're going to start rolling out next week. If people are on Twitter or Instagram, it's at the Pals Universe, and that's where everything's going to be on. It's. I'm
just looking for that now.
Yeah,
the Pals.
The Pals Universe, yeah. So basically, it's about these little characters that I've created. There's about 7,500 of them.
Oh, wow.
I've literally hand drew them all over this year, and there's the good ones and the bad ones, the pals and the foes, and it's basically about our emotions and our feelings, and they represent our emotions and feelings, and it's about that, you know, both of those will exist and coincide with each other, but it's about how to utilize them properly and stuff. So it's got quite a deep backstory, but it's also got a really fun story for kids. And you know, the foes are kind of like, you know, like the evil gremlins, like just getting up to mischief, and the pals are spreading positivity and good things. And again, really, I just want to create a community around that artwork and my artwork, which has always been my goal, just to have a real community around it and kind of a place people can come and feel happy.
So have any kids seen it yet?
Not yet, no. I mean, I've kept everything quiet for a whole year. I mean, that's kind of, if you go back on my pages, there's been a lot of blank spaces from me this year, but yeah, I haven't stopped creating for the whole of the year, and I've got a lot of plans with it. You know, I want to take it into animations and picture books and all sorts, you know, merchandise of these little characters, and you know, put events on, put exhibitions on, break into like the education scene with it, and really just promote the message of like positivity and happiness. And you know, after all the rubbish we've been through over the past few years and stuff, it's really symbolizing
100%.
coming out of that.
Brilliant. We followed you on Instagram and Twitter.
Thank you.
In the city as well. That's so good. And was it always like cartoon type characters you like doing? And how old were you when you got into this? Were you very young?
Yeah, cartoons. It's like what I've always done, really, and got into it, like I say, about 14. I grew up around books and, you know, Disney movies, and just kind of, I've had a real creative upbringing, so it was like a no-brainer that I'd end up going into something like this anyway. But cartoons, I just feel like you can do anything with. They become your friends, and you know, you've kind of fallen in love with your own style, and then it's just about, like I say, making other people do that. And yeah,
and it's interesting, Sean, because you say fall in love with your own style, and you have got a distinctive style, haven't you? And Helen and I, we didn't realize you'd done the mural at Strawberry Fields until we saw it the other day, that we realized it was you on your socials. But we went there and had our photo taken, and we thought, isn't it cool? And I know when Leslie, who's been on the program, actually, when Leslie took us round Strawberry Fields and she did a tour and we went to this other shop, one of the things she said, all our merchandise here is completely original to us, which I liked and everything, you know. Yeah. And then I saw your stuff was on there, and I thought, oh, and it's good that they're supporting local artists as well. Would you say there's a lot of challenges for a young artist trying to earn a living in that area?
I think a lot of people don't realise that there's, you know, obviously a business aspect to it as well. A lot of people just do the creating and not actually the promoting and the networking and that aspect of it. So I've just kind of been lucky enough to understand that, and I've always approached people and just asked for help. That's kind of how I've navigated my whole career so far, just asking people who have done things that I want to do, how did you do that? And yeah, I think a lot of people just have internal fear and self-doubt, which I still do, but I just kind of recognize it.
Yeah, and you just got to be, one of the biggest things for business, of course, is resilience, isn't it? You keep going, you keep going, you keep going, hard as it is, but you know, keep on keeping on, and you do get there in the end. And you know, a lot of overnight successes have taken 10 years in the making, if not a lot more, you know. But people don't always realise that. And did you do the mural in Egbert as well, the bake shop on Egbert Road?
Yeah, so that one again, that was a really fun one to do actually.
Yeah.
The whole point around that one was we wanted to kind of visually show how that business, which is the bakery Egbert Road, supports local businesses. So each character on that, it's all like, you know, it's like a cartoon loaf of bread and a cartoon carrot, and it's all links. Like each character was based for one of the businesses that business supports. So again, that was a real community involvement one. You know, everyone was suggesting characters and stuff. So
it's so nice, and it is a big community shop, that shop. And even a lot of people, even from the area, will stop and go there because they've got really strong social media and they like the ethos, etc. So I thought it was quite good when you did that. So you've got some good stuff all over the city, really, haven't you? What's the thing you're most proud of that you've achieved locally?
I would have to say Strawberry Fields. I mean, I'm a massive Beatles fan and John Lennon fan, and just being able to have that connection. I mean, I got a message off Sean Lennon about 3 weeks ago saying that he'd seen it and he said it looked amazing. So that was like a real kind of, it was like a, you know, a moment where you're like, it's that actually happened. And and Strawberry Fields, they were so lovely and welcoming. And I'd say to anyone, go and pay them a visit, see the art.
How did that come about? How did the Strawberry Fields thing come about?
I think I can't remember exactly, but I know me and Leslie had sat down and we were just brainstorming ideas. And I think originally we were going to do merchandise, and then the whole conversation about street art came up. And Leslie, I think she'd said to me like, "Oh, we've got this spot," and I remember vividly, like I sat down with like almost every staff member in there, and we did like a massive sort like mood board of just what they feel and what they, you know, experience when they're in there. And I mean, it's the most like I would say it's one of my simplest designs, but it's got probably one of the most deep meanings behind it because everyone there had a part to play. So yeah, I'd say definitely Strawberry Fields.
And a lot of people, they don't realise, they think, oh, when you're an artist, you just go and create something. They don't understand the thought, the process that's gone into it, like the research. Like you said, you sat down with every member, and it was like when we had Grace McLaughlin on, who does the sound, what's it, the gong therapy, is it called? Sound therapy.
Sound therapy,
sound therapy. She's an absolute artist. You know, she went to St. Mark's College, but that's the method she's gone in now. And she said you work with all different mediums as an artist, and you go through processes. And I think that's the difference with it. You know, a true artist, it's not just a sit down, and it's the understanding and the depth of feeling and meaning, and you know, the ethos and what it represents, who you're reaching out to, and everything. It's all of that side to it that people don't get, really, I suppose, you know.
Yeah, and that kind of changes from job to job and from piece to piece. Like it depends on what that artwork is and stuff. And I'll go back again to that project that I've been doing this year. You know, I had in my head when I started that in December last year, like, oh, this will be out in, you know, 2 months. Like I'll have done it. And now I'm sat here and, you know, there's been moments where I'm like, oh my goodness, this is taking forever. But actually looking back, it's like, okay, the process over a year has opened up so many other like options and creative like thoughts that we've added into this project now. So yeah, I mean, that's one thing I would say to like anyone who is an artist or creative is like, it's like the common phrase, isn't it? You can't rush art. Like let the process happen and you'll have a good outcome.
Of course, and it's enjoying the process as well, isn't it? It's enjoying every day of, you know, we all think that, you know, when you're at your exhibition and you've got all these paintings around you, then that's like the best thing that you can ever have. But really, it's the creating of the stuff for the exhibition where you probably get your most enjoyment from, and your inspiration and your ideas and things like that. And it's enjoying the journey, not just the destination of this big, you know, exhibition stuff.
Yeah.
Because once the exhibition, then what happens, isn't it? You know, so you need to enjoy the journey. So what's your favorite thing to paint, draw, or you know, do you like the research side of it?
I would say the way I kind of create my art normally is like with the characters, especially, like they just kind of happen. Like, and that's what I love about it. I can literally sit down with a pen and these little cartoons just pop out of nowhere and they suddenly just come to life. And I just love the, you know, and I'm grateful that I'm kind of just able to draw. And I don't think I sometimes appreciate it until I'll be sat in a cafe and someone's like, "Oh my God, I've been watching you for the past hour." And it's just like, "How do you do that?" I'm like, I'm just like, just drawing, you know, it's some people like, it's like I watch, you know, an actor and I'm like, how are they doing that? Like, it's just having, you know, that kind
when
of,
somebody has a skill,
ability.
it's just a natural skill, isn't it? You know.
And that's probably my favorite part about it. Like, it's something that I can ever kind of develop and change and grow, you know, just being able to draw these little characters. So yeah.
I know there's a few. I've got like loads of questions I want to ask you.
No, it's good. It's good.
You need to be able to breathe, though. I'll fire them in. What a couple of things I'm wondering. So I noticed you've done the work with Bold Street Coffee, and that's also in Manchester as well, isn't it?
Yeah. So at the moment, I've got an exhibition on Bold Street Coffee on Bold Street, like their original site. Yeah. So I've painted the outside and inside, and I've got canvases in there from my latest kind of collection of original work. But they've asked me to go and paint a massive mural in their Manchester branch, which is just open. So you can go and, like, if anyone's in Manchester, that's there to see now as well. So yeah.
Brilliant. And
can people buy them?
Yeah, so there's some canvases like in the original Bold Street site that they've been on an exhibition before that in Cass Art in Liverpool as well. Yeah. So they've ended up in like a little mini tour of the city, but they're up for sale. And obviously I've just, like I say, that canvas commission that I've just got this week, which is like my biggest one to date, that's based off the black and white collection. So yeah, they're up for sale and open for commissions as always.
Yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen any photos of Sean's work, the black and white stuff you've been doing, I know you did a post about note to self, get glasses, and you've got like a black and white top on blended, but it's all black and white and it's from floor to ceiling, isn't it? And vast. I mean, the time it must take to do that, I just can't imagine. And for it to be so varied and interesting as well, you know.
Yeah. That's it. Like I say, just drawing the characters is, to me, that's the easy bit. It's kind of what patterns do I put around the characters and how does it flow and can I keep the same, you know, scale? Like, obviously, you know, going from drawing in a sketchbook to on a wall is quite a difficult thing to do. So that's the difficult bit. But I normally just stick my headphones in, and music is the kind of driving force of it. Like, just having my playlist on and drawing is what brings it to life, really. So yeah.
What's on your playlist?
Oof. Yeah, do you know what? I've got the weirdest, like, varied music taste. At the moment, I'm listening to a lot of like 1975 and Young Blood, kind of indie rock kind of stuff, but amazing. Beatles and all that are in there still.
Oh,
yeah. So when you do your big sketch, like you do, you know, you've done the wall art. Do you sketch it small first? Do you and then you sort of, like, you know, transfer it, or do you have a rough idea?
As in the black and white one, or no? It just happens. Anything? Like, yeah, the black and white ones, that just kind of happen. So, like the Strawberry Fields one, for example, that was planned out because of, obviously, number one, like where it is, it's such like a prominent place. So I wanted it to be exactly like right and be inspired by the team and stuff. But with the black and white stuff, like, because it's just hundreds, thousands of characters with loads of little doodles and patterns around it, like, I just kind of go with the flow. And some people would call that unprofessional and like not planning out, but I just think it's the purest way of doing it. And, you know, in the moment, and I get a feel for the place where I'm doing it. So.
Actually, Sean, the ability to be able to do that without planning in advance, just to be able to go in and take it like that, and for it to work the way it does, that is a true gift. I mean, it really is. No, to be able, that comes from that's you know, God-given or whatever in it, whatever you want to say, talent. It's true talent to be able to do that. So Helen was asking then about, you know, if you can buy the works in Bold Street Coffee. Do you still have things in Mersey made at all?
I don't know. So I left Merseymaid about this. It was roughly about this time last year, actually, and moved into a like kind of studio outside the city centre. Just it wasn't like a shop or anything. It was just a place where I could go and work. And I did my first solo exhibition last year. So that was what that studio was for, just to be able to create. I think there was like 250 pieces of art that I put into that. So, but since then, I've just been kind of working on the go with this project that I've done. There's about 6 sketchbooks full of like I say, like 7,500 little characters that I've created as I've been, in a coffee shop or on a train or down in London or God, my voice is going or anywhere. So yeah.
So so moving forward, then you talked about your new project, the Pals one. How can people see? Are you allowed to talk about it or not, or is it top?
Yeah, I can talk.
Is that going to be online? Is it going to be things people go and see in an exhibition? So where's that going?
So it's going to start off basically. We've got a whole real cool storyline and narrative around the project. We've created this universe for the characters, the Pals, but it'll start off as an NFT collection. And the plan is, which is again something that I've kind of always wanted to do, kind of deep down, is create my own brand and IP that people will recognize. And like I say, like the Mr. Men and the Smurfs, stuff I grew up on. So yeah, I just see it as a really kind of good way of breaking into that world just through NFTs, and I want to expand it as a brand. So that's the plan, and like I say, animations and making it suitable for all ages. So from next week, if you look out on the social medias and my pages and stuff, it's all going to start rolling out, and we've got it's something I'm so excited about, and I haven't been able to talk, so it's weird talking about it now. This is the first time I've spoke about it, kind of.
We've got an exclusive. We've got an exclusive.
All happens, Sean, and I'm not. People come on here and they go off to great things. It's incredible.
So we do keep saying that, don't we?
I know, it's unbelievable, isn't it? Look at John Charles.
I know.
He's in Dubai, isn't he, at the moment?
He's in Dubai now. Yeah. So, are you looking at possibly going in and doing some workshops with children, with adults, or do you have a special sort of thing where you want to go and work, or are you just happy just creating yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm tutoring at LMA once a week, so I go in and do drawing skills with the students. But I've got a couple of schools that I'm due to be going into, just to kind of go in and just just talk about art and the creative world. And again, I know I keep going back to it, but through my project, the Pals, I want to make it kind of suitable for kids and have some sort of educational aspect, be what that is. That's something to think about down the line. But I'd love to kind of be accessible to all ages through my art, really.
And I think the stuff you've done, so the characters you've done at Strawberry Fields, so I quite like that. And for people who don't know, in Strawberry Fields, where you walk, there's a little place you can sit and you can walk around the back and you have your photo taken between these characters. And where you have things, there's a few in town in different places where you have wings and it's Instagrammable. I liked what you did because I thought it was completely different. And
we held on to the heart, didn't we? You held on to the heart and the rainbows above you. And Sandra and I, we both stood there, didn't we? It was like we were holding on to the heart hands and we had our photograph taken, didn't we?
Yeah. When Leslie took us round and she said, I thought it was lovely, and she said, and I thought, oh yeah, I knew that. And then I noticed on the picture you've got some children's sweatshirts, the orange ones with the characters on, which are lovely. And there's a lot of people who follow certain big brands, etc., like that. And I think, well, why don't you get something done locally? It's very original. There won't be many people with it, and have some original artwork in the form of a top or something. And support a local business. And they're dead cool as well, aren't they?
Well, that's where can people buy them? Sorry, where can people buy the sweatshirts?
So that design is exclusive to Strawberry Fields. So it's on their website or actually in their shop at Strawberry Fields. But the design, like you said about the heart, that was there's the heart on one side and there's John Lennon's glasses on the other, like cartoon versions, and then a rainbow above them. And it was kind of about like unity and coming together and, you know, peace and love aspects, like the glasses and the heart. So and that's what's on the hoodies and the prints as well. But that's all exclusive to them. So it's on their website and on the site. So yeah.
I'm just typing that in now so people can have a little look, and you can go to Strawberry Fields and they can buy them.
Definitely. And we've got a few. I know I was in there the other week, and we've got a couple of other exciting little bits coming up and stuff. So just grateful to be working with them and you know, have that opportunity to paint something on such like a, you know, well-respected, well-known place. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to say that you've got a piece in Strawberry Fields is pretty cool, isn't it? Because I would say most people around the world, if you said Strawberry Fields, they'll know what it is, won't they? You know.
I mean,
I was just fanning out about it. I was like, oh my god, this is like, it's
amazing.
Where John Lennon, you know, like used to come and just sit and stuff. It's great. I mean, yeah, there's just really lovely people there as well.
Yeah,
and what they do.
You know, he was an artist as well, wasn't he?
Well, this is it. Yeah, it's exciting. Do you both go around, like, have you ever done like, not like an obvious like tour, but like, have you ever just gone around and looked at the art around town and sort of like, there's so much in Liverpool, isn't there?
So we're really lucky, aren't we? Because we're in the Baltic.
Of course, yeah.
So our office is in the Baltic, and it's really funny because you walk down one place and then you see something, and then you walk down somewhere else and you see something else. And Phil and I were there a couple of Sundays ago, and there was a lot of street artists out, and they were changing sort of, you know, the graffiti art, they were changing it. So they were sort of like overspraying of what they must have already sprayed and things. And it's brilliant now. So I've sat having a coffee at 92, and there's sort of like a little concrete thing outside, and the little characters which are around and about, there's two little tiny weeny ones, and they're just on it, and you think, oh, I've seen them over there somewhere.
Yeah.
And so there's just like things dotting up. So it is like really, really cool. And I think the more you look around, the more that you notice, isn't it?
Well, there's one, I don't know who painted it, but it's of Klopp. And I was just walking past it the other week, and it's dead quiet around there. And I saw this car pull up, and I was like, that looks like Klopp. And this guy got out, and it was Klopp. So it was just him and some cameraman, and no one else was about. So I went over and just said, can I get a picture? And like the weirdest thing, but that just all happened kind of through that painting of him. So it's like the beauty of art.
So that's at the top of our office. That if you go straight down there, our office is there. So we see Klopp every day, and Bob Marley's on the other side, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, as Sandra was saying, there's the wings, and you know, I took the dog, didn't I, a couple of weeks ago, the dog to sit in front of the wings, and she did, which was cool. But there's loads and loads of funky things about there, yeah. Yeah,
I just think street art is, I mean, it's another controversial thing, isn't it? And people are always like, oh, you know, there's some people who love it, some people who hate it, and there always will be. But I just think it's cooler to have a wall with, you know, a big smiling heart character on than, you know, rubbish.
If it's done well, it's amazing, isn't it? Some of the stuff is super talented.
And you can see, and it does make people look. And, you know, I think the street art at the moment is becoming more and more popular. But it's cross-generational as well. So, and I know in New Brighton, they've got murals on that people are going around to see. We've got loads in Liverpool. We've got loads related to football as well, you know. But with you saying it's controversial, one of the guys was doing a project at Ainsdale, and he put on it like this rant he shared on his page that he had. Helen's full of COVID. He put on this rant that someone had sent him, and was so upset about the work he'd done. But it was actually a derelict building, and what he did with it, I personally thought was fantastic. Art's very subjective. Do you find that, Sean? Do you find that people sort of go, well, is that, you know, they'd rather see a bowl of fruit or something?
Yeah, especially because my work's very cartoon based. I think there's certain people who don't see that as art, and they'll be like, oh, you know, that's for kids. But that's like the majority. That's not the majority. That's the minority. Like the majority of people like kind of,
and you know,
see it for art and the fun of it.
So old. It's such an old-fashioned view, though, isn't it? And I know, like, I know when I was a teacher, Some people, some of the kids, people look. I said to the lady in the library when I was at Rock Ferry, I said, "Oh, you've got manga books there. What?" And she went, "Sandra," she said, "Don't knock it." She said it gets people into reading. And then I thought, yeah, it's true. And if you think in France, they have what they call bande dessinée, and they're like cartoon books. Adults go and buy them, and they follow them avidly, and they're illustrated. And when you think of it, in France, it's like a cultural thing. When we think of it in our country, we don't rate it as much. But actually, you only have to go into Waterstones and see how many books that are sort of designed with animation and things. And, so many people study animation and cartoon drawing and things like that. It's massively, massively popular. And I think the younger generation are a lot more open-minded and less prescriptive about art. Would you agree?
I think, and it's great to see that after, pandemic and stuff, and situations where people would struggle to make a living from art. Like, it's great still to see that kind of, what's the word, like, enthusiasm for it. And what else I will say on that is, like, the NFT space. I know we were speaking about it before, but that's really opened art up as like something to take seriously by with the older generation. Like, you've got a lot of older people buying into art now just because it's something fun they can do online. And they're buying into like actual artists instead of these massive like corporations who are like reproducing. So
I'm gonna have to go and Google all this stuff because I don't know anything about it, and I'm like fascinated by it now. So I feel like I need to go like Google everything and find out what it's all about.
NFTs, Helen, who's been on our show, Martin Sang.
Is he?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me, to be honest. He's like ahead of the trend all the time, isn't he?
Yeah, because the accountant was talking about it and investments, and people invest in whiskey, don't they? Racehorses, what they're interested in. Original first edition books and NFTs. It's just the new way.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. It's exciting times really in the area of art. And I think after lockdown, a lot of people got into, even just on a personal level, more creative things, and people became more creative. And when they had time on their hands, they found how therapeutic that time was. And you spoke about mental health as well earlier. And I think that's the value of it. Art's important, and I think everyone realised that, because it's about a holistic approach to existence and life, isn't it? And art and creativity very much forms part of that, I think.
Yeah, and that's it. And what I'm hoping to do with this project, and I've done bits before, but it's like actually support, mental health awareness and stuff through that. Just little things. Yeah. That's not saying it's all going to be about that, and like, just being able to help people and give back. I mean, everyone has their ups and downs, don't they? Everyone has their own, highs and lows, and that's really what this project is about. Like I say, the characters represent that, and kind of make people realize that's okay, that's fine. We're human, and kind of
100%. Yeah, it's life, isn't it? And then some days are good, some days aren't, and it's okay. Because I had a great thing today. And they were saying that a failure or a stumble is a comma, not a full stop.
That's great.
A comma.
And I thought, oh my days. So it's like a comma, it's like that stop, it's that pause, and then you go and carry on, don't you? It's not a full stop, it's a comma. And I thought, oh, that's genius.
Yeah.
Do you know as well, you have to have stumbles on the way. You have to have failures to pick yourself up and move on, or you're not strong enough for the long game. And, where people do something and it all runs very smoothly and there's no hiccups, there's no bumps, it runs like that, you think, because the big falls come in. And, you have to have falls, you have to have obstacles. It's part of our journey, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm the first to admit, like, this year working on it, it's I've been working with about 10 people on this as well. And there's kind of learned on the go on how to do things, where to do things, and there has been times where I've been like, that didn't go to plan, and beating myself up over it, but actually I needed that to be able to be like to do the next step, essentially.
And you're so young, Sean, to have achieved this, though. You don't realise by your age now, what you've done is when I met you and you were 16, I thought, oh, hello, this is one to watch. You know, you really, you've been focused, you've known what you want from day one, and you've kept going with that. And you stayed true to your style as well, which you spoke about, finding your own personal style and not making it, morphing it into something else to please others, but going with your own designs as well.
I think that's where you'd lose yourself, like the enjoyments of it. Like I genuinely do this because I enjoy it, and you know, I put the effort in because I want to be able to carry on doing it. So that it's just like a no-brainer, really, to stick to it.
100%. And I think it's great you found that at the age of 20, which is, you know, it's lovely. We do what we love, Helen and I, and all the things we do. Well, we don't have money for. Obviously, we do this on a voluntary basis, but our business is not. If we won the lottery, we'd still do them.
Yeah. And that's great, isn't it? It's amazing you're able to do that. And yeah, I think 100%. That's like if you're not enjoying something, like obviously situations call, don't they? And sometimes you have to, but I think if you really enjoy something, like just chase it, you know.
Brilliant. Well done.
Well, I'm dead excited for next week when it launches. I think it's going to be amazing. And then once it's all launched and everything's gone and everything like that, we'll probably have you back, Sean, to talk about all the bits that we couldn't talk about and stuff like that. So I think that'd be pretty cool.
I love it when we get an exclusive. It's fabulous.
So get down to Bold Street and have a little look at Bold Street Coffee and have a look at the exhibition, and people can buy the stuff and things like that.
Definitely going now.
And then go off and Google, what is it, NHT?
Let's get NFTs, but follow. NFT. I'd say the best thing to do is follow NHT. I've heard like some people just like completely. Some people are like SPW. I'm like no.
But I'm going to put on the thing like, NFT. Google it. There you go.
Yeah. Well, have a look if you want to follow along the project. Follow at the Pals Universe, and I can't stress like how excited I am about it. You know, it's been a passion project, and I've got an amazing team of people behind me working on it and working on it with me. And yeah, it's going to be really exciting, really good. And everyone's involved. And it's a real community-based project. So yeah.
Fantastic.
I'll put the link on for that. So that'll be cool. So we do have a little thing. So red face moment, anything slightly embarrassing that's happened this week?
Yeah, there is actually. I was doing filming today, wasn't I? And one of the scenes in it, I had to like literally like animate myself to look like really annoyed. It was like this scene where I was meant to be like looking like I couldn't draw, and I'm like not an actor at all. So I just felt really, you know, when you feel like really embarrassed, like everyone's looking at you. And credit to someone who I was working with, they came over and started like shouting. And I ended up shouting back, and it just made the scene. So it's an embarrassing moment, but ended up being really good. I just stuck it out, and yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Well done.
I think I'm all right this week. I'm ready for I'm probably ready for a big whammy soon. I'm sure of it. What about you, Helen? I had the most embarrassing moment, Sean. You wouldn't believe it. What about?
So it's not embarrassing. Well, it is slightly embarrassing. Have you seen the voice scooters around, the electric scooters around town?
Yes.
So I thought, I haven't been on one yet, and I thought, right, I'd been in the office and I'd been on a Zoom, and then I had an appointment in the Maritime Museum in the Albert Dock. So ours is like where Leo's Casino and the entrance to the Echo Arena. So I thought, I know, I'll get one of them scooters. So I downloaded the app, did all of that. Was out of our office, jumps on the scooter, and I thought, I won't go on the road. I'll go down to the front of the dock and then I'll drive along. I whizzed about 100 meters, and then it just stopped and it was going dead slow. And I was like, why is it doing? And I thought, oh, trust me to get one there. The battery's gone or something like that. Anyway, get your phone out, and it's called a slow zone. So basically, when you're in a slow zone, it doesn't work. So I was scooting with my leg, and I thought, once I get onto the front, I'll be all right. I couldn't get on the front because the Labour Party conference was on, so I couldn't. So I turned around the little roundabout where the Pullman is, went along there. So I ended up pushing the scooter all the way, got to the Maritime Museum to leave it there. And then it says, you can't park it here. So I had to walk it all the way up to the Hilton. leave it there, take the photo, and then walk back. So it took me 17 and a half minutes from our office to the Maritime on a scooter.
Oh no.
And walking back, it took me 6.5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I've never been on one yet.
I mean, they are
So
good.
I am going to go on again.
Yeah.
I'm going to go again, but I'm going to stay on the road this time.
That's so funny.
I'm going to need a crash helmet. Can you imagine? I fell off a Segway in the Billable Daisy in Rome. That was hilarious. Yeah.
Oh no.
It was good fun.
That's great.
So,
Helen's internet's only good for the hour.
No, it's right.
It always goes wrong at 55 minutes. Go on then.
Shout out to the grown-ups.
Shout out to the grown-ups. Any grown-ups you'd like to shout out to, Sean?
Grown-ups that I would like to shout out. I would like to shout out. I'll do a general one. I'll shout out all the staff at LMA Uni because just the way, you know, I've seen the way they've kind of welcomed all the new students in and stuff, and being part of that team is great. And yeah, everyone's, you know, a lot of them are freelance creatives and stuff. So yeah, it's been a really good week introducing the students and stuff. So yeah, shout out to everyone at LMA. And
it's so cool though where their campuses are as well. They've got one in the Leicester Water. How cool is that?
It's great. It's really good. And you can nip down to Costa on your break, which is perfect. So
amazing. It's amazing. Good. What about you, San? Any grown-ups?
Well, I don't want to rob the one that you've shared on the page from the family in the Echo.
I've got 3.
Go on then.
I've got 3 I'm going to shout out to.
Have them all because with time's moving on quickly. Go on.
I'm going to shout out to Trav.
Oh, she's strong. Okay. Well, she's put 3 things on the page this week, and she did a massive shout out to a lovely family actually who helped some people who'd come to support Brighton fans. Are you back with me, Helen? Go on. I think you're back with us. Yep.
Was Pauline?
No. Okay, never mind. So massive family to them, and they've got a big massive story shared in the Echo. We've put it on our page, and just about how kind they were, and it said about, you know, they were Liverpool fans, but I'm sure Evertonians would have done the same. Really, really kind act. And then she also did a shout out to Sue and the Triple C volunteer. She'll come back in again. The Triple C volunteer team at Christchurch Pantry, the winner of the Radio Merseyside Make a Difference Awards in the volunteer category. And volunteers do so much in our city, and a lot of the things we have running wouldn't work at all without volunteers, etc. Go on. Did you have anyone else, Hal? Are you with us yet? No. Okay. Well, that's it, really. That's a massive shout out. We've got loads of stuff going on. And have you got a skill?
Did you shout out to Danny de Brabant?
I didn't. No. Go on then. Danny, well, I'll do. Go on, Danny de Brabant, again, who, you know, we did have on 2 weeks ago, and we did give a massive thank you again for our sweatshirts, which he just sent us. We most certainly didn't ask for them, and all the money goes to charity too, and the extensive work they've been doing. And he has been given an award as well, after he just had on the show.
Radio Merseyside.
Yeah. That's right. A fundraiser of the year he got. And he said it's not just him who's won it. He's got, again, you know, success. He's got a massive team around him. Team DDB, as they're called, aren't they, Hel? Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, there are shout outs then. So what about your Skillshare, Sean?
I would say, we spoke about a lot about my black and white doodle drawings. I would say everyone should give it a go. Everyone should try doing some sort of drawing. It can be anything, you know, just draw what you feel you want to draw. So yeah, just give drawing in general a go this week.
Brilliant. Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then time is up, isn't it? So Sean is going to close the show. We want to say a massive thank you to Sean first. Super inspiration, a young man who's done amazing things, followed his dreams, And you know, hard work has finally paid off. We're dead excited to find out more about your new thing from the Pals universe next week.
Oh no, he's gone.
Sorry, I'm back. My phone started ringing there.
So, do you have a mantra that you live by, Sean?
Never give up. Never give up. Yeah. And then just those 3 words, and it just speaks for itself, doesn't it?
Okay, then.
Yeah.
And as everyone knows, this is live in true Success in the City form. Helen's completely frozen, so I'm sorry for people listening online. But we're going to close the show. So thank you, Sean Webster. You are an absolute inspiration to any young person who wants to follow any career path, not just in the world of art. You know, do what you love. And I love the fact that you're helping and supporting young people. Thank you so much for being on the show. And what we're going to do is we're going to share all the images we have and the photos of the things we've talked about on the page. It wouldn't let me do it in the comment. I was trying to put it in the comments, but we'll do it all over. So thank you so much.
Brilliant. No, thank you for having me. It means a lot.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we'll see everybody next week if I'm here. See you later.